I saw uh, lights both for a police car and for a EMT on the side of the road, on the right side of the road, up a couple hundred yards. And I thought, man, I hope that's not one of my guys.
Welcome to Street Stories, a podcast of real, raw, and unfiltered stories of homelessness told by Skip Finkfish, founder and pastor of Word on the Street Homeless Ministries. Please be advised, these stories are for a mature audience. Our goal is to bring you as close to the reality of homelessness as we can, one story at a time.
Had a young guy by the name of Robert. Robert was very consistent to the Sunday dinners, really enjoyed the Sunday dinners. And he was a little different. Good guy, nice guy, always polite at the dinners, never caused a scene, just came in, kind of kept to himself over on one side, and but conversational if I went over and sat down beside him, which I usually did. But one day I noticed that Robert had fingernail polish on one hand, his fingernails on one hand. And he came to the dinner when I sat down to talk with him. And he was joking with me, and he said that he wanted to just, he felt a little bit more of a feminine side that day. I mean, he was wiry, he was a regular guy. And so then another Sunday he came and he had fingernails painted on both hands. And this progressed over the course of a couple of months. And then it got to the point where he was coming to the dinner with shorts on, cargo shorts or, cut off jeans or whatever, and more of a blousey kind of a top as opposed to a t-shirt or something like that. And I talk with him, that's the thing about the Sunday dinner. We are open to anyone. We jokingly say that we have one criteria, and that is that we prefer that you be hungry. And if you're hungry, please come and eat and take some with you for yourself and take some with you to share with someone. That's our criteria. We're not based upon how people look on the outside. It's about who people are on the inside and how we can affect in a positive way those people, using food as a tool, literally, to get them there so that we can have FaceTime with them to learn their story, to find out ways that we can be involved in their life, and also find out ways where we want them to be involved in ours. So I was building some friendship with Robert, and this one day he came in this white, and it was kind of like frilly around the collar, and this blouse. And we were talking, and once again, like I'm telling you, I don't care how he looks or how he dresses. We had a serious conversation, and I was explaining to him, Robert, you're on the street, and it's tough. It's tough on the street. And somewhere, sometime, someone is going to attempt to hurt you just because they don't think like you do, or they're looking down on you, or they're developing a hatred for people that aren't like them. And we talked, and and I told him, be careful, and if you ever need any help, give me a call. I'll come and help you wherever, whatever. And I don't know why it happened on that particular Sunday, but he came and he was dressed that way. He had the meal. Nobody at the meal gave him any problems, and he sat over at the side like he normally does, had his food, very polite. And the only thing different about him than anybody else that was there was he had on a blousey shirt. Nothing different. Nothing else different. So he was walking back to his camp, and when I go home, I go drive in the same direction that he was walking back to his camp. And I always leave. I'm the last person to leave. If everybody's out of there by 6 or 6:15 or something like that, I usually stay till 7:15, sometimes even 7:30, and I'll keep a bunch of extra to-go boxes, plates of food, snack bags, things like that for all the people who walk up after we've torn down, and because I have a lot of latecomers for various reasons. But anyway, that day I left late and came out to the road, and I made the right to go home, and I'm coming up. This is a main highway for 2 lanes one way, big median in the middle, 2 lanes the other way. It's a main thoroughfare in Orlando, east to west. And up ahead, about, I don't know, a couple hundred yards, I saw lights, both for a police car and for a EMT on the side of the road, on the right side of the road, up a couple hundred yards. And I thought, man, I hope that's not one of my guys. I hope somebody didn't get it. Because there's a corner where a number of my guys have been hit and killed by cars, just up from where I saw these lights. And I thought, oh man. So I drove up there, and there was a body off the sidewalk in the grass on the side of the road, and the EMTs were there, and they were trying to care for him. And I came over to see what was going on. The policeman knew me, and I came over, and sure enough, it was Robert. And there was a witness or 2 that were there, and apparently 3 guys about Robert's age were walking towards Robert, who was walking away. And I don't know if there was construction. I don't know where they got him, but somewhere, I guess on the side of the road, construction, I don't know. But anyway, they apparently yelled something at Robert. He kept walking, according to the witnesses, and they just it escalated, and somehow there was a brick involved, and they beat Robert in the head, simply because of the fact that he was homeless and the way that he looked. And Robert lived, but Robert is in a facility in Fort Lauderdale because he has lost a tremendous amount of his brain function. When you have enough hatred in your heart to be able to attack someone simply because of the way that they are dressed, we have a problem. We're really treating the homeless, though, in a similar fashion by the way that we cross on the other side of the road, if you will, or walk wide, or pretend that we don't see them. We're still affecting them, and we're still scarring them. They tell me the stories. And eventually, the more that we walk wide, if you will, the more they begin to believe what you're thinking about them, and that what you're thinking is true, and that they will never be any better, and that they will always be destitute, and that at the end of the day they are basically, excuse me, worthless pieces of shit. That is a bottomless pit that is very hard to climb out of. So I try to get people to understand, people on the street, to not believe the lie. The attitude of society towards the homeless isn't good. The attitude towards the homeless, the fear of the homeless, the attitude towards the homeless because of the way they smell, or the way they carry themselves, or because of the way they dress, or if you think that they need to be put down or attacked in some way simply because of who they are or how they look. Get some help, get some counseling. Am I saying that I never get upset with anybody? Sure, I get upset with people. I get upset with myself sometimes for the things that I think and the things that I do. It's been a challenge over the years because you have an expectation. And I think that setting a standard, setting an expectation for ourselves, okay, let's work on maybe living up to that. But please, don't take all the homeless and put them all into one box and put them all into one level. There's not a homeless person out there that deserves your anger or your shame. And they certainly don't deserve to be in a facility because they were beaten with a brick in the head because of the shirt that they had on. I'm hopeful that Robert is at some level of peace. I miss you, brother. Take care.